So, good evening, darts fans, and welcome to the 7th and final week of the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League. Now, we have our 4 finalists for the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League already confirmed. But all that needs to be decided is where those 4 players will be positioned come the end of tonight, moving into the finals. Currently, Helguson, Helguson leads the way at the top of the table. Then it's Peter Rudrik Gudmundsson in second position. Then it's Forgeir Gudmundsson in third, and Vitor Charra in fourth position. Now, as you can see on the screen, guys, Mattias Fredriksson will play Karl Helguson in tonight's opening game, which should get underway in the next couple of minutes. My co-commentator Andrew will be in a couple of minutes' time or so as we talk through the 4 matches we have tonight. All 4 matches, the best of 11 legs in formats, and it should be an exciting evening of action. Karl and Mattias are just warming up, doing the final preparations before this opening match, and it really should be an exciting match. Karl Helguson, a couple of months ago, with a fantastic 164 finish on the live stream, which is brilliant. Over the course of the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League, Helguson, of course, leads. He's had a 161 finish. He's had a highest average of 82.30. Tournament average as well over the 6 weeks played so far. He's averaged 73.39, and that is quite superior to the rest of the competition. Again, a great night of action. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Those 816 subscribers will soon go up, I'm sure. And thanks again for watching. We are on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitter. So if you do like the COOLBET Icelandic League, please press subscribe if you don't already on YouTube. And let's look forward to this first match between Mattias Fredriksson and Karl Helguson.
Right. Karl, begin.
Karl will get us underway in this opening match. The 4 players confirmed, like I said: Helguson, Peter Rudrik Gudmundsson, Forgeir Gudmundsson, and Vitor Charra are the 4 finalists in the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League. We're here in Reykjavik on this Wednesday evening. A nice 100 to kick things off from Mattias Fredriksson. Just starting this treble 20. Good response here.
100.
A nice solid 100 visit. Lovely darts here. Superb darts from Mattias Fredriksson. He has got a lovely action, a great follow through, and he could be one of the players to look out for in the Nordic and Baltic region. And he really should do the PDC stuff. I've said Mattias is a very consistent player. He's got a great action, and when he gets his game sorted on the whole finishing and scoring, he can be up there with the best players in Scandinavia and the Nordic Baltic region. Of course, now we have 2 new PDC tour card holders in Darius Labanauskas and Madas Razma after they both won their tour cards at PDC Q School. So darts in Scandinavia is really taking off. And of course, with the PDC Nordic and Baltic event as well. Another great score there from Mattias Fredriksson. Leaves him on a finish 116 when he comes back. There's a couple of ways of the 116. Some players like to go downstairs first on the 19s, which would leave 59 if you a treble, and all the traditional 20. I think he's going to go the traditional route here. And treble 20, keep his dream alive. The big 20 here. No danger. He'll take out 56 when he comes back, or he'll have at least 2 darts at a double.
85.
Bit of pressure there, but Matthias should take this out. Tops it is. Just inside, which leaves, of course, what we call the Icelandic double. The percentage of doubles left or doubles hit at the end of matches in these events in particular is double 10. It's left a lot of the time. There's great pressure from Karl Helguson to set up tops if he gets an opportunity. Great start at double 10 now, fantastic. And I'd just like to introduce our co-commentator for this evening, Andrew Sinclair. Andrew, good evening.
Good evening, Tom. How are you?
Not too bad, enjoying tonight's action.
Yes. Just settled
leg,
in now.
Matthias, yeah.
Good leg. He's been impressive in the tournament so far, so it's good to see if he can keep that up tonight and kind of dig in as we move to the business end.
I was just saying before you came on, I was just saying about his action. He's got a really nice follow through. He scored really well in that first leg, a 140 and a couple of tons. And his action, his follow through is brilliant. I was saying if he gets his whole game together, maybe he could give the PDC events in Nordic and Baltic region a go, because he really can hit the big scores. It's just sort of getting his game together with the finishing and the. If anything was like that first leg every leg, he'd be a great player because he can really produce the goods when it's needed.
No, it's a lovely action, and he's got a nice follow through. But I think work on the grouping a little bit, and yeah, he's got a great chance. And it's not just the PDC events. You've got the Windmount Iceland Opens coming up in March. You've got tournaments in Finland as well, organised by Windmount, the WDF, and the BDO, which these players really should be making more of a dent in. And I think the setup that the Premier League have got now will give them more of a chance.
Yeah, and we've seen some great matches in the not just in the Icelandic Premier League, but in the Live Darts Iceland tournament on the whole. We've seen some huge finishes. I remember Karl Helguson, who's playing right now, he had a 164 finish to win a match sometime last year, and then Holgrim Helguson, who's unbeaten in this year's COOLBET Icelandic Premier League, as he plays later on tonight, he produced a 161 finish for 12 dart leg just last week. So there are some great players. Vitor Charra is another player I've been looking out for. You've probably heard of him. He had a 10 dart leg recently as well on the tour.
Yeah, he's also got a tremendous moustache as well. So he's always a great player to look out for. But yeah, that 10 darter was some impressive stuff. And he's been involved in a number of close games in the Premier League. So I think his record, he's won half the games he's played, but I don't think that's reflective of how impressive a player he is.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it, Andrew, but I've seen the lads attended the William Hill World Darts Championship recently in London, a guest from the PDC, and they had a great time, and it sort of opened their eyes a bit to say if we can start playing well, then who knows what the future can hold.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Nordic Baltic region is relatively untapped as far as darts goes. You've had great players in the past. Magnus Karris springs to mind. Obviously, you mentioned earlier about Labanauskas and Madars Rasmus, but kind of that region is getting far more exposure in terms of darts, and darts is becoming a bigger sport over there.
Karl Helguson has got a chance for tops here, double 10. Oh, and he really should have punished that because Matthias missed a big number to not even leave a finish on that.
Double top.
And I think that was a case of taking your chance, and that's exactly what he did there. He capitalised on those missed opportunities.
85.
Yeah, just moving into a nice two-leg lead to start. So following up on that early breaker throw as well. So it's what you've got to do. A break's not a break unless you follow it through. So good start from Matthias here.
Yeah, a lot of players do switch off when they break throw. They seem to think the hard work is done and then sort of get too relaxed and lose the rhythm a bit.
I think there's an adrenaline rush there. You see players pull off a big shot to break the throw, and then it comes to their own leg. They get a bit of an adrenaline dump. And how many times have we seen big players hit sort of 26 on their first throw, and then suddenly you're on the back foot straight away?
Yeah, this is a great start from Karl Helguson as well. A nice 142, and he's back in the red bit again, and that's a nice 9 darts. They're down 210 after 9. Not a bad start.
Not at all.
And Matthias's throw is under huge pressure here.
Yeah, you really need a couple of trebles here.
60.
Still got some breathing space here. Matthias looking to needs a couple of trebles here ideally. There's one of them.
100.
And 6 darts then from 150. Nice and straight will do.
100.
There we go.
Lovely shot.
Bit of pressure there now.
Yep. Assume he's going to go single 10 for double top. Yep. 2 darts for tops. Down
Leaves our favourite double.
40.
Just inside.
Can Matthias punish here, though?
The way he's been pummeling the red bit, you'd say he might. Yes, there we go.
2 darts, double 18.
78.
Just inside. That's always the risk. A lot of players do split the 10, don't they? But you've got to have a go at it, but you sort of waste 2 darts if you go inside the big 5. You've already wasted a dart.
Yeah, my preferred route there is always go for a single 2 and then try going for the double 4, because if you miss the double 4, leaves you a double 2.
Matthias was guilty of the same thing there, going inside the big 9.
Double 1.
Nice marker there. Needs to flick in off the flight, really, and it could go in.
Lag for Karl.
There you go. A nice breaker throw, breaks straight back. I think that leg was sort of well deserved the way he kicked off. 210 after 9 darts, 140 in there as well. So he's back in this match definitely now.
It was a very solid leg of darts, but he's got to follow up on that leg by trying to break back here.
Yeah, so Andrew, we do have our 4 finalists for the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League, like I was saying earlier. But tonight is basically just where the players will finish. For the finals night, it will be first place versus fourth place, and then second versus third.
Tremendous shot there. Sorry.
A lovely 180 that was from Matthias Fredriksson. There's no better way to be interrupted than with a 180. There's no better way.
60.
But yes, this is the kind of trying to settle who finishes where. So Helguson's clear at the top, 12 points. And then Gudmundsson second with 10. The other, Torgeir Gudmundsson, is third with 8 points. And Victor Charra is fourth with 6.
100.
I find that quite surprising as well, because Vitor has been probably the spearhead for Live Darts Iceland in recent times. And Halle Helguson has really been in fantastic form. I don't know where it's come from. He was always good, but never sort of reached latter stages consistently. But this year in the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League, unbeaten, of course, and he's been playing some spellbinding stuff.
Yeah, averages wise, he's sort of well above the rest of the bunch. He's got a better checkout rate than everybody else, and he's finishing his legs better than everyone else. So, yeah, he's played tremendously. But for Vitor, all 3 of the games he's lost have been 6-5. So that's what I was saying. I don't think it's reflective of his talent at all. Another single for tops, yeah. Oh, but.
Oh.
Right, let's see if we can go it second time round. Another single 20 for top.
He's made sure of the big number there and not quite reached it. But will he get another chance? We'll soon find out. 112 for Karl Helguson. Trouble 19 now, surely. 107 left. Trouble 19 leaves the bull, of course.
Yeah.
88 left. It might go for 20 here.
44.
So, Matthias on Fredriksson wants tops, Andrew.
Can he get it?
Game shot for Matti.
In one. Beautiful that.
He might have made a mess of it to start with, but yeah, back on track. 3-1 up now. And now see if Karl can hold his throw.
Yeah, I think in this position it can either go two ways mentally. 3-1 down. And when you've had your chances especially, it can be quite draining, really. But it's all about how you approach it, really. If you think you scored well but just haven't sort of took my chances,
125.
then it can sort of give you a bit of confidence. But a great start from Matthias Fredriksson there.
Yeah, it's this leg is monumentally important for Karl because of the fact it's his throw. Loses it, he's 4-1 down, and Matthias is thrown for a 5-1 advantage. He wins it, and a break, he's all square at 3-all, and then he's thrown to go into the lead. So this leg will probably determine where the match goes.
Yeah, it's most certainly a huge leg for both players.
Matthias unable to follow up on his successful early visit with a slightly below par second.
Still is in the driving seat, but if Matthias can find a treble or two, there's one.
100.
Solid darts.
26.
Now, big
Many
score
favour.
here. Real pressure. Real pressure.
I think the pressure's telling as well on Karl a bit.
60.
Very rare that you see Matthias sort of straying into the 5 or the 1. His throw is very deliberate, very straight. There you go, straight in the treble. Just stay there.
85.
Into the 5 at the top.
But yeah, no, I would second what you said earlier, Tom. He has a lovely action. And I just think more exposure and more tournaments will help him with that grouping.
52.
Because he's already getting some good scores. It's just converting those 5s into 20s or 60s.
Dinner again. Great darts. Don't know what he's thinking up there. Maybe it's for the big one. Possibly.
Yeah. I assume he's going for 1 to leave top. But...
He has got time on his side if Karl can't take this out, but he's
And
got it
he's
all
lost
to do now,
again.
busting his score. 146, Karl Helguson, just above the treble bed. It's a great second dart. 66, treble 10 probably now. All the bullseye.
98.
Real pressure on this 101 now.
The 19s. 62 left.
69.
That's a great last dart.
16 for double 16, you would assume here. Yes. Got the single.
Game shot for Kalle.
Oh, tremendous.
Expertly done. But
And
again,
now he's throwing to pull level. So,
yeah, what we were saying before, I think Mattis is scoring well, but he's making some real mistakes. Obviously, he bust the 80. He's bust the 101 there. He missed a single one from the 101 to start with. And those mistakes are starting to damage his chances moving forward because Karl Helguson is punishing every mistake he makes at the minute.
yeah, those mistakes are either a case of miscounting, which we're all capable of doing, or it's a case of not having as much control on the dart as you want to, which is something that can only really be rectified with more practice. Matthias has got the scoring down. He's scoring kind of more effectively than Karl. And it's just those couple of busted finishes that are dragging down his average and his performance so far.
It is an easy thing to rectify. It's obviously easier than not having at least he's got the scoring power to rely on. The fact that he's not straying into the one of the five is staying nice and straight. It's just minor things that he can change himself by more practice. But his action and the way the darts are entering the board are absolutely perfect.
60.
This leg is very well poised at the minute. Great treble 20.
140.
Leaves the finish with a superb visit.
60.
Yeah, before you came on air, Andrew, I was just saying about the Nordic and Baltic region
41.
in a brilliant place at the minute. Madars Ravner and Darius Labanaskas both PDC tour cards at the European qualifying school. It's in a great place. We've got like this, and Dennis Nielsen as well. Magnus Karris. There's some great players in Scandinavia.
There are some tremendous players, and it's great to see that region flourishing as so many others are right now. I think darts is in a tremendous place, and it's great to see so much diversity from across the world. Because, to be honest, darts is one of those sports. Obviously, we've seen with Iceland the miracles their football team have achieved, and it's shown what good infrastructure can help you with. But I think darts is one of those sports that you should be able to play anywhere in the world because you can play it indoors.
This could be a rather crucial moment here.
Yes.
72. That's in 24. That's 48 left.
16 for double 16, you'd think, or maybe single 8 for the tops. Oh, no, he's got to go for double 16.
I think a lot of players just aim for the wire in between, so whichever.
Yeah, they've got options.
Going for one particular one.
Well, unless you get the treble 16 and then you bust again. Tops. Oh. 35. Will he go for 15? Double 6.
26 he's ended up leaving there. Well, Mattia should tie it up in this leg.
Yeah.
In this
3 darts at double 8 if he needs them. Double 4.
Game shot.
There you go. Breathing space, reassured.
Now this is a massive leg here, because if Karl holds his throw, fine, but if he loses, Matthias will be thrown for the match. So
43.
I think the first 9 darts could be key in this particular leg.
Wasn't a tremendously strong first throw, so if Matthias can punish him here, he'll be in pole position for the leg. Another treble.
100.
Steady ton to start.
His first start has been brilliant this evening. Straight in the middle of the treble 20 bed a lot of the time. But again, a lot of tons, so like you said about the grouping side, that's something he could work on, but it's easily fixable. And once he does get the first 2 in the treble 20 with regularity, and his averages will start creeping up as well.
Well, I mean, he's effectively stolen the throw in this leg now. He's now 92 clear, plus, well, 32 clear, plus whatever he gets on this throw. He is now in pole position to break Karl's throw, move into within 1 leg of the match. But, I mean, first 6 darts aren't always indicative, so...
5.
Another lower, below what he would expect throw from Karl there. Can Matthias follow up a good treble? And another.
140.
Superb darts again.
He's now has a massive advantage in this leg. If he can,
100.
I mean, 6 darts from 1-2-1 if he needs them. So he doesn't need to worry about maybe taking it out first time and miscounting again. 17.
60.
61, solid. Next time. I'll really need a treble here.
45.
Didn't need that.
And now he still has 6 darts from 61. So
you'd expect him to tie it
he's
up.
got to take this out.
It's double 8 left.
8.
Always made a catastrophic
Lost
error there.
again. But again, it's that. Well, he's not busted, but he's left himself 5. But again, his superior scoring power in this leg looks like it's probably going to save him.
26.
And it's not been punished whatsoever either.
But that's probably the reason he's in the bottom 4 of the Premier League, is because he's not been able to take his chances against the better players, or the better players who are scoring a bit more powerfully are going to take him out. And he busts that again. So it's been a inconsistent.
I'm pretty baffled with that decision. What he's gone for there? 143 has gone sub 19, which leaves 86, and he's gone downstairs again, which is very strange.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say that each player is different and they have their own routine, but there are some times you see them go for a score and you struggle to work out. If Matthias loses this leg, this is a...
Psychologically, it could be.
Oh, huge. He was so far ahead.
29.
Oh. Double 2. 3 darks, a double 2.
Game shot for Matti.
And he's finally got over the line with just one leg.
Was that a 26 dart leg?
Is that all?
Was that a 26 dart leg? Is that all indeed?
Yeah, because I think he got down to the finish after 12.
Similar standard to me, to be honest, that leg.
60.
A steady start.
Oh, good trouble.
70.
Following this game, Andrew, on the live stream, we've got the unbeaten man who is Helguson taking on Joseph Katian Dorun, and it's going to be interesting to see how Helguson, if he can keep his unbeaten run, and see how he gets on.
Well, he's been very impressive throughout, and he's got the kind of the top seeding more or less secure, but there's no guarantees. And Joseph's a very solid player. All of his games this year have been close as well. So you'd expect Helguson to be the favourite going in, but he can't rest on his laurels in this game because he needs to ensure he finishes top.
Yeah, he's been quite solid. A 73.39 overall average for the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League over 6 matches. 38% checkout. 33% overall checkout rate. So it's not been too bad for him. It's been very good. 4 180s in the 6 matches that he's played. So, but obviously Dorun will be wanting to go out on a high and try and claim a major scalp.
And there's always the chance that Dorun's currently 7th in the table, but there's always the chance he could perhaps move up with a victory, maybe finish 6th. But again, in this final round of games, if you can't qualify for the final 4, there is a huge element of pride. You want to win because you don't want to go out on a defeat. And all these matches are tremendous experience and exposure for these players. People being able to watch on the live stream on YouTube, events on Dark Connect as well. So it's a great opportunity for just fans to see these players and for the players to just get a bit more streamed experience. So you just want to make the most of every game. And you'd hope that the next game's very competitive.
I think as well, at any level, if you're playing against someone who is unbeaten and you know they're unbeaten, you want to beat them so bad.
Oh, 100%, yeah. That's a massive driver because you want to be the one who takes the big scalp.
Just outside. So Mattis will have 3 darts at double 10, Andrew, to take the match.
It's a strange option though, going treble 20, and then double 9. Not necessarily the route I would have gone for, but got to do what you got to do.
think each player has their own preference, but
Is that a blocker? Those 2 darts there.
might be able to just flick off that barrel underneath.
No score.
Oof, just outside.
And the Karl punish.
This could be a huge, like, if he can take this out, could be a
Double
huge
top.
moment in this match.
1 more dart at it.
34.
Side. Now, 3 more darts for double 10.
Can't say that he's not had his chances, but both players have had chances really in each leg.
Game shot for Matti and the winner.
There we go. Matthias, 6-2 victory there over Karl Helguson, Andrew.
I want to say it was very solid, but it wasn't. I don't think that was his best performance at all, but it was good. It was solid. And he didn't get punished too much for the mistakes that he made. Sort of in every leg, there was either a miscount or some poor finishing, but he didn't get punished because he scored well, and he was always sufficiently far ahead by the time he got to the finishing stages that he had a bit of manoeuvrability to me. So a solid enough win to end his season, and that should ensure he finishes 5th. So best of the rest. Well,
yeah, I think both of their players had stuff to work on in the game. I know Karl was sort of switching into their own places and missing a few doubles. Matthias was scoring brilliantly, but sort of he busted his score a few times. He missed a few big numbers, but overall it was quite solid. And apart from that one bad leg, which he ended up winning, it could have been a 70+ average there.
Yeah, I think the standard dropped a little bit in the last couple of legs from him, but he was perfectly solid in that game. And it will give him good confidence for kind of the season ahead with more games to come. There'll be more ranking events. And obviously there is, as I said earlier, the WDF Windmill Iceland Open coming up in April. And there is the new, obviously, PDC Nordic and Baltic Tour. So I assume these players are all going to take part in that. It'll be a tremendous thing if they do. So it's a great opportunity. And all the exposure is just going to be more and more good for building their confidence.
As you can see there, Andrew, in the graphic, we do have an update on the current COOLBET Premier League table. No real movement in between the 2 players that have just played. They stay in the 5th position and 8th position. But next up, we have Helguson Helguson. As he takes off on Joseph Dorun, and what could be a great game.
Yes, it should. Although I have to say, Helguson does remind me a lot of Paddy Kirk from Emmerdale, which is slightly disconcerting, but not a slight him at all.
Just a reminder to all the guys watching at home, we are on Facebook Live, YouTube and Twitter. Currently have 819 subscribers on YouTube. So if you do like what you're watching, please do hit subscribe for all future live darts Iceland events. This is the 7th week and the final week of the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League here in Reykjavik. We are on Dart Connect as well, as you can see there from the graphic. We are on Dart Connect if you want to follow the action. If you're not able to watch, you can watch every single dart over on Dart Connect.
As you can see on that graphic there, Helguson, sorry, is the betting favourite for this one, quite a sizable betting favourite. And he'll want to produce a good performance moving through to the semi-finals of the Premier League.
Yeah, I think he wants to lay down a mark. He's got the highest average for a single match. That was 8-2. So he'll be looking to push that up as well. I know it's the final week, but he'll be looking to sort of lay a marker heading into the semi-finals. Sort of a fire shot at his future opponents for the last 4 of the tournament. But for Darun, he'll be looking also to go out on a high, maybe show Helguson more what he's capable of, and maybe even beat the unbeaten player here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a chance for, as with all of these games in the final round, chance to play for pride, just get some exposure and get some opportunities and kind of produce a good performance for your own sake, to be honest. We all know how it feels when you play a game of darts and you play well. Even if you lose, playing well gives you a lot more motivation moving forward.
Certainly does.
I mean, for me, that's a case of getting above a 52 average. Kind of pleases me at the moment. But we all know these players have played well. They know each other well with the ranking events the Live Darts Iceland do in this Premier League, which I think is a great addition to their calendar. So, yeah, you know these players know each other well and just want to be able to get that little victory and that little edge moving into other events later in the year.
Yeah, I know that averages looked at a lot, and maybe we sort of besotted with averages over slightly. But a lot of players after a game will tell you that averages don't matter. It's some of the best players in the world just come off and go, a win's a win, and I'm not really bothered what I average. But then you've got other players that are sort of infatuated with. I know Michael Van Gerwen, every time he comes off, he's obsessed with what he's averaging. Sometimes he feels Gordon saying he feels like his average is 110, and sometimes coming off his average maybe 105, and that's poor for his standards. That's the way he thinks. He wants to average 108 to 112 every single match.
Yeah, I don't think averages are everything. I mean, darts is a sport that lends itself to statistics, and there's some tremendous stats out there, and there's some tremendous people involved with darts doing statistics, but I don't think they are the be-all and end-all, and I think a massive part of darts is the mental side of it. So you can be throwing tremendous averages and getting good doubles, or conversely, you can be averaging quite low by what we've seen as the acceptable standard, or a fairly low checkout rate. But if you're comfortable with your game and your throw, that, to be honest, is the most important thing. And you see with a lot of players, they might have the highest averages. I think Ryan Joyce in the recent PDC World Championship was a perfect example of this. It's not about having the high averages. It's about whether your average is comparable with your opponent and whether you can raise your game a little bit to match your opponent, or whether your opponent settles into a rhythm around yours and you're more clinical. But I really don't think averages are the be-all and end-all, and a high average doesn't necessarily mean an entertaining game. As the recent video championship shown, there were some perhaps lower scoring games that were incredibly fascinating to watch.
The players just making their last final preparations before the match getting underway. Last few practice starts going in here.
I would say to you, Tom, you've been playing darts longer than I have. How much store do you put by sort of a long warm up? Are you a Merv King style warm up for hours on end, or are you someone who just likes to have a few quick practice starts and then just get going?
I am quite a big practicer, to be fair. I do. If I'm playing in a match, particularly like I've got a match tomorrow, I'll probably sort of have an hour at home, then we go to the pub and with the rest of the team and have a practice for maybe another hour, and then we'll go to wherever we're playing and sort of have a quick shot there. So yeah, I do. I don't over practice. I maybe do half an hour to an hour here and there a day, but I'm not. I do like a good hour before I'm playing. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting to hear from dart players and just anyone who plays the game at any level, because everyone's very different. Some people think I need to practice for hours to work out how I am, how my grip is, how my throw is, whether I'm comfortable, whether I've got any tightness. But some people don't like to the idea that if you throw too many darts, you'll end up throwing your best darts before your match.
Yeah, I've played against a lot of players in my local league, especially. Some of the top players. They just walk into a venue and just stand at the bar, and then they just pick the darts up when they're ready to play. I don't know whether or not they practice at home hard, and maybe they think that's enough. I'm not practicing anymore when I get there. I'm not sure what the tactic is, but for me, your arm needs to be fresh, and you need to keep it going. And it's a bit confidence as well. If you've had a good practice session, that might give you confidence already going into your game and thinking that you're going to win before you've even picked up a dart.
No, I think that's very true. Yeah, I think just as I was saying, darts is such a mental game that even if you've not practiced much, but you know you've been playing well recently, sometimes that's enough for players. And they just, if you act and look confident, that can often be enough to put your opponent off a little bit in the opening couple of legs, and that can be enough if you're a bit shaky to get you in and avoid you kind of looking a bit ropey to start. So, but yeah, I just wanted to get your take on it before the guys started, because obviously they've had a fairly solid warm-up there, a few more warm-up darts than you normally get, but obviously everyone's very different in their routine. So.
So the guys just throwing their final darts before this evening's second match is going to get underway. Helguson against Joseph Daroon. Live here on Facebook Live, YouTube and Twitter, with myself and Andrew Sinclair on the commentary.
And you can follow the action on Darts Connect as well, which I think is a tremendous service for following darts, really.
Yeah, darts globally. I mean, everyone will have their eyes on Q School tomorrow, and Dart Connect will be viewed millions and millions of times all over the world tomorrow, especially.
Yes.
I was chatting to George Noble, a PDC referee, actually today, and he was saying that the draws at Q School could be absolutely pulverizing. You could just think of all the top names that are there, Andrew, and they could all be drawn against each other.
I mean, obviously, yeah, no, sorry to interrupt, but obviously we do Inside the BDO, our podcast, and we know a lot of the players. I think it's 19 of the players at Lakeside this year will be at Q School. And you factor that into the players who lost their PDC card, the likes of John Part, Robbie Green, Jamie Caven, some of the great players who were on the Challenge Tour last year, the likes of Cameron Menzies. No, it's an incredibly stacked lineup, and you could quite easily see in the first round tomorrow, Glenn Durrant, Jim Williams, a rematch of the BDO semi-finals, which, I mean, yeah, you've got another 3 days to qualify, but immediately one of people's favourites to a tour card could be out. So yeah, it's a tremendous service, and I think it's also great to just kind of have in the background and be able to check up on scores and statistics and stuff during the day.
Yeah, I remember on one of the Euro Tour qualifiers before a Pro Tour weekend, and Jamie Hughes was playing Robbie Green, and he beat him 5-0 with a 125 average, and all of that was purely because of Dart Connect, watching all the legs come through, 12 darts, 11 darts, 10 darts, 12 darts. It was absolutely amazing. I've known Jamie Hughes for about 6 years now, and I know he can play very consistent darts. I've seen him average in the 100 teens before, but for a Euro Tour qualifying against Robbie Green, the pressure's on, and a subdued atmosphere, that was a terrific match. And 125 average, to maintain that for 5 legs was brilliant.
I mean, that's another. There's Jamie Hughes is another name people will be watching at Q School tomorrow.
I do know that Jamie was absolutely kicking himself last January because he didn't get it. Obviously, he was expecting to get it, as every player is going into it. But the way sort of some players have 2 really good days or 1 really good day and don't seem to follow it up, or the look of the draw, or whichever it goes to. Obviously, it goes to points, doesn't it? You go like an order of merit table. If you don't get it automatically, go into sort of the order merit table, and he accumulated enough points over the first 2 days where
100.
maybe needed another 2 or 3 points, so you just couldn't quite get the points that were needed. I know he ran into Alan Taburn a few times. You all know what Alan Taburn can do.
Yep.
But yeah, it's going to be very tough for any player to come through that.
69.
A very solid start for Helguson here.
Yeah.
Got some breathing space in this leg.
79.
Joseph really needed that triple there, but it might not be enough. He should, given his form, take this 82 out.
79. I think with your opponent, I think the 14 is a lot bigger target personally, but a lot of players go for the bull because if you do it to 25, you've just got the 57 left. So, sort of insurance policy there.
Yeah, I think the bull's kind of become a lot more of a kind of default start point for checkouts now than it ever used to be.
Yeah.
And that might be just the rise of soft tip, where the bull is obviously a lot more predominant, or just practice routines. People are just trying different things, and only takes one person to try something and others catch on. 2 missed starts tops there from Helguson.
I know from the finishes in the 90s, the bull route is mandatory because if you're at the 25, you automatically get a shot again at the bull to take the leg. So it depends what your opponent's on as well, of course.
34.
Right, another 3 darts at tops here for the league leader.
Game shot for Hall in the first leg.
But he needs the 1. Good start, Helguson.
I think, especially in the last match, Andrew, I think that Matthias was sort of playing the opponent rather than playing the board itself, because Karl wasn't producing the high quality stuff that he's maybe capable of. It sort of dragged Matthias' game down a touch, and Hallgrimsson will sort of be looking to attack the treble 20 now after a mediocre start, it's fair to say, because his tournament average is 73. His average sits 68 in that first leg, so that's sort of below his normal standard. He'll be looking to up that average in the next couple of legs.
Yeah, definitely. And I think playing the player is often, especially when you are a fair bit in front in terms of scoring and so on, can often be one of the worst things to do, because you start to think, oh, I can afford a miss here and there, and suddenly those misses can catch up with you, especially in a best of 11 format where it only takes you to make a couple of mistakes. There's a couple of breaks of throat, for example. But I think Hallgrimsson was kind of a proper professional throughout the game so far, and I think he'll just kind of plod along, keep doing his stuff, and take opportunities as and when they present themselves. And if not, just try and hold throw and go with what happens.
There's really nothing in this leg at the moment.
No.
Just need a couple of treble 20s maybe to open up some distance between the two. Hallgrimsson will be looking for a nice solid visit here.
Yeah. Sort of, he needs a couple of trebles, really.
I think the way his darts landing the board could either be a distraction, obviously. But if your first dart goes under the treble, you've sort of blocked the entire treble off. But it's one of them, if you can pitch your first dart over the treble 20 bed, similar to what Daryl Gurney does, his darts sort of dip down and tries to flick off the top dart into the treble 20.
Yeah, if you can get it above, it can often act as, you bounce off the barrel, or just use it as a really good marker. That's a good first start there.
Brilliant.
Lovely treble. Follow that up, or steady ton. Onto a finish first.
He's definitely a 19s player, is Dorun.
I mean, is that a height thing in some sense? Because you can see when the two players sort of stand next to each other, Hallgrimsson was much the taller man, so often when you are, as I am, a shorter man, the bottom of the board it's a lot easier to aim at sometimes than top of the board. But that's a lovely treble 20 there.
There. He will. Double 11.
A lovely 142.
Composed himself.
120.
Yeah.
That would have been Joseph's highest finish of the tournament. It was a lovely setup as well. A couple of lovely
He had to stay there. The lie of it was begging to be hit.
Well, that's a good line, I think, for tops.
60.
You see what I mean about his first start? If it's underneath, it's a blocker. That's what he did there. He perhaps should have moved to the side, but will he get another shot at it? Who will know? Who knows? No. Great dart.
Oh,
He
I
just-
think
He
I
just
think
did
in
one
some
dart
sense-
too late, didn't he, Andrew?
Yeah, I think in some senses, to be honest, that Helgrimer's darts for the 80 there were fine in the sense that you need to go up for another single and then up for the double, so you can use it as a guide to adjust your throw. But I think he just didn't quite get the adjustment right on that final dart, and he ended up with single 20 rather than tops.
Yeah,
but
I
a
think
steady.
the first dart was okay, but the second dart was sort of dipped down, just overlooking the bed, so it's difficult to sort of dip it over that dart and into the.
But both guys scoring reasonably well so far and finishing fairly well. So it's been a good game so far, and Joseph's good value to be 1-1 here.
Yeah, he's got quite a big setup, hasn't he, Helgrim? If you look at his dart on the hole, he's got some long shafts there and then a long barrel compared to that of Darun. If you look closer, he's got quite a long dart.
Which can often be a blessing and a curse, depending on the way your darts lie.
And old Luke Humphries does the same. He uses a massive stem on his.
I'm a big fan of the kind of Scott Waite short, stubby dart, to be honest. They just kind of land in the board with a bit more of a thud and tend to lie a bit more flat.
26.
I know Scott's barrels go all the way into the board. You don't even see the point sometimes. He throws them that hard.
Well, as someone who uses an awful lot of shoulder in their darts, I tend to... I need a kind of a shorter point.
95.
Good switch there from Helgrimer. Put him onto an even score. Solid
Lovely
first. Odd choice to switch there.
139.
I've seen a lot more confidence in Darun's throw as well, even since that winning that leg. He's throwing with a lot more purpose now.
A strange-ish decision to switch, but it would have left him
140.
Beautiful visit.
lovely finish. Well, finish. Lovely final dart, that's what I meant to say. Oh.
75 left.
171.
Superb darts. Amazing.
Huge pressure now on this 46.
I'm surprised he went for the treble 19 on 75, but maybe
16. Just on the wire.
40.
Oh,
I think maybe he had some third treble 19, but he was on 75, so maybe.
Game shot for your pin.
There we go.
tremendous stuff from Darun. I think that was a 16 dart leg there. Great stuff.
That's going to give him even more momentum and even more confidence now. I said before he was confident after the second leg. Now he's leading the league leader, who's unbeaten at the minute. So how much confidence will he get from this?
22.
Oh, tremendous. To get an early break with a 16 dart leg and now potentially throw in, I mean, that's not a great start. But he's technically thrown in this leg for a 3-1 lead. But I think that start there of 22 was indicative of what we said earlier, is that sometimes when you break, you often follow it up with a really poor visit. Just that adrenaline dump, in a sense, just you get a bit more loose with the darts.
41.
And again, slightly loose with that final dart. So there's a big advantage for Helgrimer here if he can put a big score on the.
I think this could be a leg where both players are sort of cancelling each other out. It's got a bit of a nervy feel to it.
It was a really important treble with his final dart there. He's now got a lead of almost a ton before this.
58.
But the beauty of it, Andy, is we're only into the fourth leg now and potentially a best of 11 leg encounter. So there's a long way to go in this match for either player.
Yeah, and it's been really good quality to start. So hopefully both guys can keep up this standard for the rest of the game. It should be one of the games of the tournament so far. Visits like that aren't necessarily going to help, but now there's that. But good treble.
70.
Suffered
with that one, the lie.
He looked like he was sort of putting a bit more shoulder into a couple of those darts there, Joseph, as if he's trying to force the score because he's had some lower scoring visits so far.
85.
Yeah, it's certainly unorthodox because he's going for 19s a lot of the time, and then the odd turn he will switch to the 20s.
I honestly think that might be a height thing because I'm not a tall bloke.
117.
I think he should stay there more often, to be fair.
I have far more success on treble 17 than treble 20. I say that from personal experience of being 5'7.5". So, two great trebles.
137.
Brilliant darts.
Huge. That's Joseph needs a big score here, or he could be broken straight back.
95.
Last one.
Good treble. 66 here to break straight back.
Bit of pressure applied though with 98. Oh, is that in? Not straight
Double
in the treble 10.
One more at it.
Looking off the barrel. There we go. Beautiful.
There's an 18 darter to break straight back from Helguson, and now he's starting to move into a 3-2 lead.
Standard here is marvellous, isn't it, Andrew? 74 average play, 71.
I mean, this is on track to be one of the games of the tournament so far, but I think that leg there. Oh, hang on. Oh,
beautiful darts. See what we're saying about the way the darts land. That was a perfect example of it because the first dart flicked right into the top of the treble 20 bed, and the rest just followed.
Yeah, I think as you were saying, that's very true. But I think that last leg and the start to this one here. Oh, come on! Oh, 4 darts in.
Beautiful darts.
Tremendous start here. But I think that last leg and this leg here is evidence of why he's the league leader and why he's not been beaten. He didn't look particularly flustered that he'd been broken in the third leg of the game. He just came on, did his business, and he's scoring tremendously now and just looks really on another level.
Yeah, I think consistency is the main word there as well. He's solid in his scoring. His finishing's been great as well, and he's sort of not fluffed his lines or looked flustered at any point in the match so far.
Yeah, provisionally, he's got a lot of time. Yeah. He's got an awful lot of time with this 140, but the way he's throwing, I wouldn't be shocked to see him take it out. On the 18.
54.
And of course, a win here would cement his place at the top of the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League and take on the player finishing 4th.
Which at the moment is Mr. Vitor Charra, the man with the best moustache in Iceland. And if you are listening or watching this and you're an Icelander with a better moustache than Mr. Charra, please send that to me on Twitter. I will honestly compare and tell you who's got the better moustache.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, his moustache.
I would like to say that I'm a connoisseur of moustaches. So anybody who thinks they can up Mr. Charra, please send me one. And only serious entries will be accepted. Oh.
Superb composure, straight in, first down.
And I'm pretty sure that was a 16 darter. So, yeah. An 18 to break back and then a 16. So he is tremendous. And he's, up to a 77 average of the match now. This is some great stuff for him.
55.
Yeah, it's certainly higher than his tournament average. His highest average in a single game was 82.3. So he's only 5 points off that, to be fair. So if he carries on in this space, he'll look at this.
140.
Tremendous.
Beautiful 140.
Yeah.
But I think his opponent has pushed him to play this well because the way Doreen was starting, it sort of made Helguson think that I need to start playing well. I need to improve, and he has done.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he's clearly stepped it up considerably. First couple of legs are a bit scratchy, a bit below his tournament average, and really, since the leg he was broken, he's really kicked it on.
If you are enjoying the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League, the coverage here this evening, please do leave any feedback. All the team here are keen to hear what the viewers have got to say. A few more YouTube subscribers since we started the stream, Andrew, and we're up to 820. I'm sure that'll improve as time goes on. And Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, and of course over on Dark Connect, we are very well covered here in Reykjavik, and it's been a great evening so far.
It's tremendous. I really think that Live Darts Iceland have got a tremendous setup, good publicity. You've got people on Twitter who are really enjoying it, people who just love their darts, and it's not, I like the PDC, I like the BDO, whatever. It's just people who enjoy watching darts. And it's great. They're putting their own effort into it, and they're producing a good product that people are enjoying to watch. So this is great stuff. And it's been an entertaining evening so far. I'm only in the second game, so I would encourage anyone watching who's not already subscribed to hit that button now. Because we are only at the start of January. There's going to be much more to come from COOLBET Icelandic Premier League and also tournaments throughout the year.
Yeah, and I think the guys at Live Darts Iceland as well, I think we'll be giving out some prizes perhaps when we do reach 1,000 subscribers. I know we give away a signed set of Mark Webster darts when we reach 500. So I'm sure at the 1,000 mark will be giving away some sort of prize to a lucky viewer. I know that Wimmal were very appreciative of the Icelandic Premier League.
Oh, tremendous. Another 16 dart leg. Up to an 80 average now.
This is brilliant. It's going to keep going up and up and up, I think, Andrew, the way he's playing.
Through, he's motoring. Oh, this is a very impressive performance from the league leader. Really is putting his foot down and setting him up.
I do think it's probably his most consistent display in the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League, because I know he's got an 82 average before, but in that game he took out a 161 finish, which sort of raised it up with a 12-dart leg. But this has been very consistent since the very start. That's a brilliant visit.
That's a very good visit from Darun. Maybe he's not finished.
What a game from both players. The standard from both sets of players has been brilliant. Not just one guy playing really well. Both players are pushing each other, and it's been tremendous so far.
I mean, Joseph's playing as well, if not the best he's played all season either in the Premier League. So, yeah. And again, it's a case of a rising tide lifts all boats. If your opponent's playing well, that pushes you. And then when they respond, that pushes you, I say, as he hits a 22. But, yeah, I think they're pushing each other here, and it's making for a very good contest. One, you still got to favour Helguson for. Where'd that double top come from?
I think he just needs to take a second to...
Yeah.
I think he's rushing his darts because he's had a bad visit. He's sort of quick to correct it and sort of sped his game right up instead.
I think that's the first real sign of emotion we've seen in this game. Just needs to, as you say, compose himself a little bit.
I think he has an idea of what he's averaging. He knows he's had a 16 there and a couple of 18s, so he knows he's pushing average wise, and maybe he's concentrating on that as well a tiny bit.
57.
I think players worry about their averages in a game as well, like we were saying about before, about averages not really matter. I think averages only sort of matter really after a game's finished and you come up with a decent average, you can sort of reflect on it. But in a game, if you know you've gone like, say, 15, 14, then you know you're over 100 average, so you're sort of thinking about it mid-game.
I don't even think it's necessarily the averages. It's just the way you're throwing. If you know you're consistently hitting big scores and you're winning legs fairly easily, then when you start to throw a few loose darts, you get angry with yourself because you know the standard's there.
80.
In the same way that when the poor darts are consistently there, you beat yourself up a bit more because it's like, why won't it go in the treble 20, not the single, or the double 16 and not the double 8 kind of thing?
100.
Solid 10. Someone 64, but he might not get the chance. This would be a tournament high finish if Joseph can take this out.
It's not on anymore. 114.
Unfortunately not. There.
61.
Good last start.
Decent last start to set the next shot up if he does get a go.
60.
64, he wants 56 now.
So 16 for top. Oh,
No, he can't do it. So that
Missed.
50, that last start from
5.
Doreen will be crucial, really, if he can
and
take out
now
the
he's left
66.
himself 39, which I don't think he meant to do either. I think he wanted the single 16. So, oh no, 41. So double top, Joseph, 2 shots at it. That should be a good marker.
60.
Wow.
Frustration showing on both players' faces now in this look.
There's a much lower quality leg from both guys, but right, double 16 from Helguson.
That
Just
looks in from
inside,
here.
he thought he'd got it, but just inside to double 8.
25.
Huge chance this could be here to get himself right back into the contest.
Yeah, 3 darts, tops for Joseph. Good marker that one should be. Out on the wire. Double 10.
2 tenths. The
Can you bet
Icelandic
adjustment?
double.
13.
Helgrim's going. It looks like he might get off the hook here. 3 darts, double 8 to move 5-2 in front. Just have to move right across now to block it. Oh, he's properly snookered himself there. Oh,
No score.
so well. Now, double 5 from Mr. Daroon. Double 1 for double 2 or 3 for double 1? Double, oh, passed.
Both players suffering in this one.
This is a very attritional leg now.
Game shot for Halle.
Wow.
Same leg.
He got there in the end. 29 darts later, Helgrimor is 5-2 up, and that's going to hurt his match average. But I think it'll be important to look back at the end and just think, take that leg out and the poor finishing aside. This has been a tremendous performance from the league leader.
60.
Yeah, I think it has been on his mind how well he's been playing. It's frustrating, obviously, to have a leg that bad in darts wise, but he'll be looking to
57.
keep it going here. Forget all about that leg. That's the best thing to do. Just he's won the leg. That's all that matters. It could have been worse. He could have played like that and still lost the leg.
97.
Very solid.
You were saying earlier he's had a lot more success with that treble 19. You see he switched up there and just didn't quite look as comfortable. I know he's hit a ton 80 already, but just doesn't look as comfortable throwing the top half of the board.
So he's got no room for error in this leg. This is to stay in the match.
Yeah, he's going to have to reel off 4 on the bounce.
And I think that confidence he had when he was leading 2-1 has sort of been drained out of him now by that last leg, especially.
Yeah, the last leg was a real case of opportunities missed for him. Could quite easily have broken back there, potentially made it 4-3 to be thrown for 4-all, and as it happened, he couldn't quite see it out. So it's a shame because he's playing as well as he has all tournament. But Halgrim has just, in the words of Michael Van Gerwen, been doing the right things at the right times and just had a little bit too much from a quality perspective and a scoring perspective for his opponent.
217. If he could just get a solid score here, he can set up a finish. He'll need something here now.
Beating himself up for those slightly lower scores. I think that sends out a strange message to your opponent, because how much do they read into that? can see both players now getting quite frustrated that they're not playing as well as they were earlier in the game.
That could really help that first start.
Well,
Just straying. What I was saying before about his preference of what he's going for is he's been throwing on the 19s, but every other visit he'll sort of switch to a 20, which worked on that occasion, but it's definitely unorthodox.
75. That leaves him on 64, but will he get the chance?
The way the last few legs have gone, I'd say yes, but who knows if he can take this tops out.
It's a bit high. He's going to have to make the adjustment come down. He's pulled it too far. So he will get a chance at that 64.
Oh, slack dart there. Lazy dart. Really, he could have gone for the 16 all the right there in that position.
Yeah.
There you go, he's punished for it. Game on.
28 dart leg, that one from Joseph. Not again a great quality, and it has butchered both guys' averages. Helguson are down to 72, Joseph down to 66, but
just how detrimental will that be to Helguson or Helguson, though? So the way he's been playing, you can see in the way his darts are landing in the board and everything that he's not as confident as he was when he was banging in the 180s and the 140s earlier on in the match.
Yeah, I think he's getting visibly frustrated, which, if any of the other players in the competition are, I think you can take something from that. If he's getting frustrated at poor visits in a game that he is fairly comfortably winning, then maybe you know that if someone is putting up even more pressure than Joseph's managed to do, he's probably not unbeatable, as the table suggests. I think that's the one thing you do need for darts. You need a good poker face. You need to not to be able to show your opponent when you're feeling really rough and lonely up there and you're not having any success. You really need to be able to hide it. Because if they can see you're struggling, that's when they'll pounce.
I think Eric Bristow as well, known for that, seeing that his opponent's weaknesses, it really made him thrive on it.
Yeah, I think some players are just not just huge confidence players, but they are huge big match players. And it's who can handle those big match moments most. And you see it in the hallmarks, all the great professionals, who can handle the big moment and can't.
I think, speaking of pressure and how you handle pressure, there's no perfect there's the perfect advert for that is Glenn Dunham, really. The BDO World number one, of course, the last 3 years he's won the BDO World Darts Championship. And the heaps of pressure that he's been under year after year after year, a massive target on his back, and the way he's played in Lakeside the last 3 years is average like 95, 95 and 96 over the 3 tournaments at Lakeside. The way he's handled the pressure is not sort of howling the 110 averages that we know he can produce, but the way he's played so well under pressure, especially the Paul Hogan game, where he came within a surviving match starts from Paul Hogan to lose 4-0, so coming back and winning 4-3. And then there was the Scott Baker match this year where Scott Baker forced the 7th and deciding leg after being 3 sets to 0 down. And the way psychologically that Durant seems to shrug off those worries and carries on and still wins the tournament is brilliant. I know he speaks to a sports psychologist in Stephen McKibben, who works with Scott Mitchell and a few other guys, and the mental side of the game is so important.
Hang on. Let's see if Joseph can take this 35. Which way is he going to go? 19 for double 8. It's probably the option I would have gone for.
16.
Just checking with the referee there. Oh, bounce out, unlucky.
Pose himself.
And now Helguson 30 for the match. Good marker, perhaps. Oh, no.
Massive chance. The outcome of this match, this visit alone is so massive.
Can he pick off the double 8? No. Switches for double 4.
huge dart.
8.
Oh. Right, so now Helguson, double 4 for the match. He's got 3 darts at it if he needs it.
I think he should get this.
I mean, he should. Yes. All 2. Horrible, that one.
Oh, drama. Drama to the max in this match.
Again, another lower quality leg, and we're seeing Joseph getting a good opportunity. Double 4. Like,
Huge moment.
he's broken him to be throwing to go 5-all, which a couple of legs ago looked completely out of the question.
It's been absolutely baffling so far. We've had everything in this match, really, Andrew. We've had drama, we've had high quality darts. It's fair to say we've seen 180s, plenty of 140s from Helguson, but on the finishing is really let him down.
And the thing is, it's only in the second half of the match the finishing's let him down. The first half, he was flying.
He was pinging him for start. Yeah, he was getting the doubles first time of asking a lot of the time.
And I think now I think he saw the finishing line and sort of started stumbling.
Yeah.
And now he might feel a bit frightened.
Yeah, because he had his average up to 80 with a 4-2 up. So
132.
tremendous visit from Joseph there. That's huge pressure on Helguson in this leg now.
I don't think he's been under this much pressure in the entire duration of the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League, and it's really under threat now. He's unbeaten.
Yeah, I mean, most of his games have been kind of fairly one-sided, sort of 6-2 most weeks. Well, 6-5 in the opening week against Vitor Charra was his toughest game so far. But he's been really made to work in this game, and to be honest, the way things are going, it could go down to a decider when really anything could happen. And Joseph will have won 3 legs on the bounce, and the momentum's firmly in his corner. Oh,
yeah, the nerves are definitely telling. You can see where the way the darts are landing in the board as well. The pressure is on. That's a great first start from Dorun.
And you can hear him beating himself up as well. He's walking away from the board, shouting, "Come on," rubbing his head. And
that reaction is really inspiring Dorun, because he thinks he's rattled his opponent, and it's his match for the taking. And it could be if he can seal this leg.
He's 200 clear before these. And really, a ton isn't really good enough. So Joseph's now got 6 starts from 1, 3, 4.
Yeah, and I think this match just shows how the mental aspect of that really could come into play.
42, which will leave him on 92, which is an achievable finish.
You just imagine what emotions he's going through, Andrew. He was flying 80 average at 4-2 up. The 2 legs off the match. You think he's going to wrap it up in the next 2 legs, and then it all goes badly wrong.
Wins a scrappy leg to go to 5-2, and you think, right, I'm probably just going to slog it out now, and he's been reeled right back in. But that is a poor first start from Joseph, just the wrong side of the wire. He's now on 74, so if I'm him, I go for the 20s. Yeah, he's with 54, which is a good finish. Helguson needs 136, which he can't do.
Yeah, for me, 14s is the route for 74 all day long, but whatever for the preferences.
Well, it's 54, so it's not. If it was 74, yeah, 14s, I'm with you, but. Yeah, perfect. Tremendous.
What a comeback from Joseph Dorun here. 5-2 down, gets it back to 5-all. Brilliant.
Momentum's firmly in his favour, and Helguson throwing first is not a tremendous indication of where this match is going.
And from legs 3, 4, and 5, the way that Helguson was smashing the treble 20 up and hitting the doubles for start, we did not see this coming whatsoever. I know Dorun was playing well at that time, but he was nowhere near Helguson. The way he was piling the darts into the red bit, it was never looked possible.
But I think the big stat really to look at, and I mean that visit of 5 there does not help Joseph's cause, but if you look at the match averages, Helguson was up 80, looking to go and push beyond 80. Joseph was just about over 70. Joseph's averages hasn't dropped by that much. Helguson has seen a really big drop off in form, and Joseph pounced on the opportunities. So you think if as I was saying, if someone is scoring at a better rate than Joseph in the games in the future, I think Helguson will be probably quite up against it. But this start to the leg from Joseph's been uncharacteristically poor, and he's averaging 16 in this leg so far, which isn't helping his teams.
We're going about darts being a mental thing, Andrew. How mental is the fact that we're into the final week now of the league phase and he's not lost a single game? Would that sort of extra pressure, target on his back, be playing on his mind going into the game, and especially the way the game's gone so far?
Probably. And I think it's one of those things, in a sense, you'd like to lose early on because you'd like to get that first defeat out the window. So it's not like a monkey hanging on you the whole time that I haven't lost yet, I haven't lost yet. All the talk is that you're unbeaten. So I guess, yeah, you would want to, perhaps no one ever wants to lose, but if you're going to lose, maybe rather lose early on. But at the same time, you might want to, in a sense, if you're going to lose, perhaps this is the game to lose when you know qualification's already assured. You're probably going to finish top of the league, and then you can go into the semi-finals knowing you're not the unbeaten guy anymore. People know you can be beaten, and then there's a little bit less pressure on you. But at the same time, just losing in this game shatter your confidence. I think it depends how you read these things.
Oh, great darts. First two trebles in here.
180.
Superb darts, leave the finish. What pressure that is. Absolutely sensational. I was just going to say, if you're Joseph Daroon now, if a win here, what sort of confidence would that give him going into next year?
Oh,
that's brilliant.
104 to finish with an 18 dart leg. Finish. Great stuff there from Helguson. Really impressive performance in that final leg. Yeah, great stuff from him. And a very solid performance. Take out kind of the mid phase of that game, but first half, it was absolutely tremendous to watch. And if he can keep up that standard of dart, he's really going to be a threat to everyone going forward.
Yeah, and there was definitely a lot of unpredictability about that as well. The way the match was going, it was strange because Daroon levelled the match at 1 apiece, then he went 2-1 in front. Then Helguson from nowhere, really. We know he's capable, but he was playing below par in the first couple of legs. But then from then on, he 18, 18, and 16 to go in a lead. And then we had that scrappy leg where he went 5-2 up, and then you think he's just going to hold it now and just win the match 6-2. Credit to Joseph Daroon, who really did battle back brilliant. Despite only a 67 average, he really did produce the goods, and nerveless as well. He didn't feel phased. He only needed only one more leg away from losing. That didn't bother him. Obviously, he was sat in 7th position, so it didn't really bother him. He had nothing to play for in that sense, but it was a great comeback.
And I think that's, as we've been talking about averages in the show so far, I think that's one of the prime examples of where averages really don't tell you the story of the match. Like, that was a really gripping contest from start to finish. You had, as you say, you had a slightly iffy start from both guys. Daroon getting an early break, Helguson firing back with 3 tremendous legs of darts, the quality dropping right off, and then him winning the final leg with a brilliant 104 checkout after Daroon hits his second 180 of the match. So, yeah, really, really entertaining game to watch. And I really, as the averages, they don't actually do Daroon's justice, really. Great stuff. And now we move on to the third game, which is 2 players. Well, one player who's still within, Torgeir Gudmundsson, and he'll be taking on Rudolf Francis Einarsson, who has already been eliminated, but will be trying to battle to, well, again, probably playing for pride more than anything else. But Gudmundsson is through. The best he can try and do is finish second, as Helguson has already cemented his place as top of the league. So Torgeir Gudmundsson playing here to try and win and move up to second provisionally before the final game of the evening between Vitor Charra and Peter Gudmundsson.
Yeah, that final game, Andrew, is a game I'm really looking forward to. That is probably one of the standout ties of the COOLBET Premier League so far. For me, maybe two of the best players that Iceland has to offer, bar of course. And they've both been playing solid over the Live Darts Iceland streams. Gudmundsson's done some PDC and BDO stuff. So he's very experienced when it comes to that. I know he actually played Glenn Durrant in a tournament. I can't think what. I think it was a tournament in Denmark. He got drawn against Glenn Durrant in the second round. And, Vitor Charra, he's played in a few BDO tournaments. Born in Portugal. Now we're straight in Iceland. And that'll be a brilliant game to wrap things up Wednesday.
Oh, I think that's a fascinating game in prospect. And obviously, Gudmundsson is already signed up to play the Dutch Open in a couple of weeks, one of the BDO's biggest competitions of the year. So you can see that this league really is part of a bigger scene in Iceland. It's opening doors for these players. But yeah, I think Charra has been one of the standout names in the Icelandic scene for a while now. And as we were saying earlier, his performance in the league so far this season, every single one of his games has been tight, and they've probably not reflected his talent. But he got a good 6-3 win last time out. So he'll be looking confident for this one, and that the last one is the one that it's very hard to pick a winner, and it's probably the game. Well, it's not probably; it's definitely the game I'm looking forward to most this evening.
And I think his 180 hitting stands out for me as well. 7 180s in 6 matches is some going in this league. By far, Gudmundsson's actually had 9. Forgeir Gudmundsson's actually had 9 in 6 matches, so he's definitely one to look out for in this particular game. 9 in 6, that's absolutely fantastic, really, isn't it?
Oh, it's very good. And I have to say, Torgeir has a great look. I mean, he just looks like your granddad, doesn't he? That white hair and those glasses. He properly looks like somewhere between your granddad and Santa. It's great. That is a great look. And that's not me being disparaging before anyone says anything. I think he's great. And I'm a big fan of Einarsson's darts as well. Certainly colourful. No one mistake that they were yours. What are your thoughts on sort of dart setup, Tom? Do you fiddle about with your darts a lot, trying new things, sort of Peter Wright, the Tinkerman, or are you happy with the set you've had for a long while?
I'm not quite at Peter Wright level, but I do like to try different sets of darts and stuff. Yeah, if I'm not playing well or the darts are not going right, rather than thinking it's me that's not throwing it right, I just like to switch different weights, switch different barrels, and yeah, I'm afraid I'm one of those kind of players. But sometimes it's good to try different setups and find the perfect setup for you. I mean, Peter Wright goes on that he's waiting to find the perfect dart. I don't think there is one. The best set of darts that Peter Wright has picked up are the ones that he won the UK Open with. They call the Element PL11s. They're like a diamond coating on them. Remember when he won the Premier League and the UK Open?
Yes.
Minehead, he was playing some brilliant darts at that. But that's probably the best he was playing in his career. I think he used those darts in the Premier League as well when he averaged 119.5, which is the second or third highest TV average in history.
I think obviously we're now underway. Great start from Torgeir with a solid ton there. But I think Peter Wright's in the awkward position now of he's faffed and fiddled with his darts so much, and his form's dipped. He has no idea whether it's the darts that are the problem or it's him that's the problem, which is a difficult position to be in, because do you just stick with one set of darts, another solid ton from Torgeir's start? Do you just stick with the same set of darts and hope and try and see whether it's you that's the problem, it's your action? Or do you keep changing them and hope eventually you'll get back to the right one? It's a tough situation for him, and it's a shame because he's a great player, but hopefully his form will pick up in the Masters in a couple of weeks' time, and then moving straight on to you've got your Premier League and the UK Open and the Players' Championships and the Euro Tour will be back on the road before long, and then we'll be right in the swing of things again. So
he's straight in the red bit here, Andrew.
135.
Nice visit, puts him right back in this leg.
Very solid start for both players here.
Yeah, and I think the style of dart, Andrew, and the weight of dart especially suits how you throw the dart as well. It all depends if you've got a firm action or
70.
a soft action. Like, I think that Forgeir here reminds me of a lot of Steve Beaton. He uses the pair flights. He's got the silky smooth action, quite a soft action.
Yes.
83.
I know personally with my darts, I found that I throw them quite forcefully. So I needed quite a heavy dart because the lighter darts I was just firing them all sorts of places. But I think, yeah, it's just a case of just getting the right kit. And I think the best thing now is there's so many dart suppliers and like teams like Unicorn and Target and all those guys are just producing some incredible stuff for people to try now. I think if you really are serious about darts and you want to make a great go of it, there will be something for you, which I think is great. You don't have to just go with the set you can find in your local supplier. You can really have a play around with stuff.
Yeah, there is a lot of dart shops. Obviously, not just online, but there is a few dart shops out and about. I'm from the Bolton area, so there's a shop in St Helens called A180. You might have heard of it, and
Yes.
they've got 5 or 6 dart rooms where you can walk around upstairs. They've got board after board after board. They've actually got the Isle of Man setup as well, the original Isle of Man setup in the dart shop.
Wow, I mean that's very cool.
I know that a couple of lads did a marathon for charity. David Brown, a guy called David Brown, did a 24-hour dart marathon in the shop both Saturday and Sunday to raise money for charity, which is brilliant in the shop. And punters could just come in and play a leg of darts with him just to keep him busy. And it's a great way to test different weights and different grips as well.
Good first leg from Einarson there, breaking the throw. 21 dart leg.
It's a great way to sort of find the perfect dart for you, and before you buy, really, rather than buying a set of darts and then not be happy with them.
59.
Definitely. I just think it's a great now. There's so much more variety and choice out there. Because to be honest, the more competition, the more stuff you have, the even better those companies are going to be in striving for even better equipment. So, I mean, it's just great for the future of darts, really, that you've got so many manufacturers out there. And you've actually got, as you're saying, like actual dart shops you can walk into. Because darts is really, it's all in the feel of it. And it's the same as clothes shopping, really. That, yeah, you can buy it online, but to really find what suits you, you often have to go in and try it on. So, if I sound like a complete old man, we can switch back to the action. Solid start from Mr. Einarson to start this leg.
Straight into treble 20.
Nice and flat first. It started very flat in the ball.
Yeah, his darts land really flat, which really can benefit you because it's not blocking the bed off if it's a stacker or it's going the other way. Sort of, you can see all of the bed still, no matter what.
Solid ton for Torgeir to keep pace. Again,
yeah, I think what you were saying before as well about changing equipment often. Well, I'll just stop here for a minute. Great dart. Superb visit. Leaves the finish. Yeah, what I was saying quickly about the changing your dart setup. I know Michael van Gerwen's used the same set of darts since he was 12 years old. You can see on the TV how worn down the barrels actually are. And Rob Cross, before he was signed by Target, actually used 3 different barrels of all 3 darts with different weights, believe it or not.
I mean, that must be very hard, but I guess it's one of those things. If you practice with it, you're used to it, and that setup works for you. I know we saw in the recent BDO World Championships, Laura Turner was using 2 darts from one set and 1 from another. And okay, she didn't have a performance reflective of her abilities, but I mean, that kind of thing works for some people. I'd say it's just one of those things, really.
Just quickly back to the match here. What's 88 here? Rodolph?
18 for tops, no, treble 18, so that leaves him with 14, so double 7.
Yeah, 18 with a left bullseye, so it is the right shot.
Game shot for Uthor.
Great shot.
18 dart leg to make the most of his break there. 77 average so far from Mr. Einarson. He's 2-0 up. He's looking really good so far.
I really admire the way he sort of stopped, had a quick look, recomposed, and then took out the double 7.
It's very reminiscent of Max Hopp, the young German star on the PDC, who someone I'm a big fan of. I love how in big moments Max really does stop and compose himself
100.
and then throw that big dart. He never rushes himself. And I think in many ways that's an advantage of having a slower throw. You see someone like Ricky Evans who throws 100 miles an hour, can be great. You can hit 180 after 180, but sometimes when you're struggling to find your radar's not quite right on those doubles, it can be very hard to adjust when you're just chucking them. So I really do like that kind of touch of just composing yourself, going again.
45.
Takes tremendous awareness as well.
2-0 advantage early on in this match as well.
It's been a very slow start from Torgeir. I mean, he's 9 darts in and he's only 99 down. Rudolph's got a 46 average, a 46 advantage plus these.
58.
So could have been a better visit, but he's 104 up. I mean, couldn't have asked for a better start to this leg. Could he break for a second consecutive time?
And if Torgeir, of course, does go on to lose this match, then that would be great news for Peter Gudmundsson, who will cement second place before he was even thrown a dart.
And will also open the door for Vitor Charra, should he win that game, to move above Gudmundsson and put Torgeir on course for a semi-final meeting with Mr. Helguson, who we saw moments ago in a tight contest with Joseph Daroon. He's really struggling tonight, Torgeir.
But it's not affected his opponent. I know when players don't play well, it sort of reflects on your opponent as well. But he's really playing well here, is Rodolph.
It's the idea that you can kind of drag your opponent down to your level in a sense if they end up playing you rather than the board. But Rudolph's made a really impressive start. Just super concentrated. Another triple.
That first start was brilliant.
He slipped into the 5 again, which is it's a shame, but
71 left. 62.
It should be on 62, 64 now. I mean, that's a fairly straightforward option. You go treble 16 for double 8, single 16, single 16, double 16.
Yes, it was 62. It was right in the first place.
I was 62. There's me getting carried away with me 16 times stable. Never mind. How would you go 62, Tom?
Treble 10 all day long.
Yeah.
That's it. The 18s, that's 44.
That's the treble 6, isn't it? Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. So it is 18, yeah. Double 18?
6 left, yeah. Just inside.
He made a mess of
that. Plenty of time here.
Yes, there's been a real... Torgeir's just not found any momentum so far.
18.
That's one of his best visits in this leg.
Still not left on a finish. Won't get to the finish.
22 dart leg, Einarsson, 3-0 up now. 74 average. And against Torgeir, who's averaging just 59. Which is nowhere near what he's been doing.
To be fair. He's in there again now. Superb stuff, this. This is quite a performance, to be fair.
But I mean, we were saying earlier that Torgeir he'd hit 9 180s coming into this match, had one of the highest tournament averages so far. And to be honest, he's probably been the least impressive player we've seen so far this evening.
Yeah, if you're a first-time viewer and you see Torgeir playing for the first time, you wouldn't really compare them stats to the same player, really, would you?
No. Oh.
But the way Rodolph's played in this game has been brilliant.
To be fair, I think everyone has struggled to keep pace with him. He's been terrific, especially on his own throw.
97.
I think his first start is key. His first start was landing up, finding the treble 20 first start consistently.
I mean, Einarsson's shown flashes of this in the tournament. He's just not quite been consistent enough. But he's really showing a great account of himself here, and it would give him a great launching platform for the rest of the season.
Yeah, he could well have the highest average of the night as well, the way he's playing.
This is one of Torgeir's better legs, and he's still nowhere near him. So that single one's not going to help.
That's been a rarity in this match.
27.
Very steady throughout. He's going to get a chance at 109 no matter what here. Maybe might get 6 starts at 109.
Really need to treble.
60.
He does get 6 starts at 109.
6 starts from 109.
19's ideally first, probably.
Sink
90 left.
just the wrong side of the wire. Treble 20.
Doesn't need to rush this.
Just go for another. Oh, stops.
79.
So leaves 30 for next time.
Was that a miscount possibly, do you think?
I don't think he wanted the tops. I think he wanted to leave 50. And maybe go 18, double 16.
16.
Which probably would have been the way I'd go for it.
Strange setup on 90 though to go the 20s route, to be fair, but each to their own.
He's made a right ash of this now. 17, left himself on 13.
Yeah, I've seen some very peculiar setup shots this evening, but each plays different. And obviously the 90 route, you've got the 18s.
I mean, this is fresh out of my playbook. Some of this, just chuck and see at some points for me, to be honest. Right, so leaves him a double 4, which is the right way to go. Good marker, probably.
Jorge's got an opportunity here, and this could.
And this is not a leg in any way you should be winning.
No.
It's been nowhere near.
Moments like this can turn the course of the game.
Single, another single will leave him tops. Yeah.
60.
Just
inside. So Rudolph might actually get away with this here.
Looking at his body language, he's sort of given up on the leg already. The way he's
Talk is just wandering off.
Really not happy with the way he's played this leg. Or just do this last. Yeah, the score wasn't correct. The scoreboard. I apologise for that.
Double 5.
Game shot for Porter in the first leg.
Oh. So he ends up with a 23 dart leg to get back on terms. After a bit of a sloppy leg from both players, but in that leg, Torg has actually managed to up his average to 61. So, is that a sense the tide's turning, Tom?
Well, it's definitely, and it could well be. It all depends on how Rodolph starts off in this leg.
114.
That's a tremendous start. Another solid treble with his first start there. So again, he's well clear on the tall gear throw. So, well, 2 shot. Could he follow that in?
125.
Still, good visit from tall gear, putting the pressure on.
I find, especially in these events, Andrew, it's you can be out of a leg 1 minute and then your big visit and you're straight back in the driving seat again.
Well, I mean, we saw that with Joseph Daroon's game where you needed a couple of sloppy legs and the whole game can change complexion just like that. So this one, you still think Einarsson looks far stronger, but this could, again, switch at any moment. But he's got a big advantage here if he can put a big visit on the ball. Really needs a couple of trebles. That 5 doesn't help. 42. 44 doesn't leave him on a finish. So Torgi, in theory, could well be the first to a finish in this leg.
60.
Solid 6 leaving on a finish. It is a big one.
Oh.
What sort of hole could Rodolph dent in this 172?
30.
Quite a small one by the look of it. That's really not what he wanted. Even a 60 would have been far more helpful than 30. Can't now do the 156. Goes downstairs and ends up with treble 3.
26. 27.
Slightly confused at the maths there, but that might be me. No, that is me. Never mind.
Beautiful darts.
Can he get the double 11 that Daroon missed earlier for that
This would be a
142?
massive finish. This would be huge.
Oh,
Oh, that's fantastic.
highest finish of the tournament so far from Einarsson. Great stuff there.
And that now will lift his level up once again, like it was at the start of the game.
He's
He
now-
did dip in form from 3-0 up, and that would certainly help his cause.
Yeah, Torgeir couldn't take advantage of the breaker throw there, and now finds himself 4-1 down, with Rudolph throwing for a 5-1 advantage.
41.
41.
$60.
Well, yes, Forgear has certainly been below par compared to what we've seen him do over the first 6 weeks of the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League, and he'll be disappointed with the way he's started in his first 5 legs, but the game is still not over. If he can sort of nick this leg here, he's right back in contention.
I mean, that's his performance is not to take away anything from Rudolph,
60.
but and you can see in this game the scoring is there for Einarsson. The scoring's been there all tournament. It's just the finishing that's let him down. He's got one of the lower finishing rates in the whole competition.
100.
But here, with that 1-4-2, he's shown that he's more than capable of taking out the big numbers. It's probably just a confidence thing, and he's playing really, really well here.
Sometimes it can be all on the day as well, and how you're feeling and how the game's going. But he's feeling really good here. He's playing beautifully at the moment. That's just straight in there.
55.
Unlucky.
An opportunity for Torgeir here to maybe put some real pressure on. Good first dart.
That's brilliant.
Good second dart.
118.
Oh, tremendous stuff from Torgeir. That's what it's about. He's 10th to the competition. Great second dart.
84.
Not such a great third dart, but can he break back here, Torgeir? Leaves himself 2 darts at tops.
Tops.
13.
Small glimmer of hope here for Einarsson. 118. Yes. 58. Tops for a 5-1 lead.
Oh.
Just strays into the double 5. No, it didn't do, according to the scoreboard.
My scoreboard hasn't moved, so that, yeah, it did straight to the double 5. That is the thickness of a wire away from his highest checkout coming into tonight was 113. So for the second leg in a row, he would have fired in what are his best checkouts of the tournament.
Under pressure as well, under intense pressure. Forgeir gets it back to 4-2.
Now he's throwing to make it a 4-3.
We have a game in our hands again, Andrew. Another great game.
But we saw last time he couldn't quite follow up on the break. So it's his throw that's been his real struggle. Both the legs he's won have been on the Einarsson throw. And he's been cost really by poor. His first 9 have been. That's a good start. 93 there, solid start from him. Einarsson opting to start on the 19s. Finds the treble with the second.
95.
He keeps the pressure on him to start. This is Torgeir's starting to pick the standard up now, so that could make for an interesting second half of the contest.
100.
Just to say, I've seen there's been a few more subscribers since we mentioned it a little while ago. Up to 823 now, and obviously we're covered on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Dart Connect. So if you are enjoying the coverage of Live Darts Iceland this evening, the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League, make sure to hit subscribe on YouTube and let the team know if you've got any feedback, or let myself, Andrew Sinclair, or my commentary partner for the evening, Tom Beresford, if you've got any feedback for us or any questions, make sure to let us know, and we'll respond to the polite ones.
Nice visit there to put the pressure back on Forgeir. Needs a 59 here rather than a 60.
100.
Oh, he's good job he's got in the treble there. You see, a 60 would not have left the finish, whereas a 59 would have left 167.
Yep.
85.
on those
I know that Gary
seven.
Anderson seems to do it a lot, doesn't he, Andrew? Where
Yeah.
sort of just leaves himself a bogey number quite a few times.
Well, I remember obviously a few years ago when Gary refused to admit that he needed glasses. One of the more memorable incidents of the World Championships. But Torgeir's really stepped it up in this leg, and
45.
the last couple of legs really to make a game of this after it looked like he was just going to get completely blown away at the start.
I think each leg is one as well of giving confidence. So if he knew he weren't playing well, but then each leg he kept winning
16,
despite not
68,
playing well.
52.
Will he get a go? Or can Rodolph take out this 134 just above the treble 20?
Treble 18? Well, no, not enough.
So Torgeir will be looking at double 8 when he comes back
58.
to
So
reduce the deficit to just 4-3.
3 darts at double 8 here. For his first hole to throw in the match. Oh, he's gone for the wrong one.
End
There.
shot for Torgeir.
Just sneaks it in the corner. And
20
that's
dart
4-3.
leg there from Torgeir, pushing his match average up to 65.
For this first dart, Andrew. This is beautiful.
Oh, here we
This is
go.
delightful.
140.
Oh, that's
Still
more
a
like what we've seen
fantastic visit.
from Rodolph so far.
The way that his first dart landed, you sort of knew where he was going to go. He was just going to follow it.
Yeah, his darts are tremendous.
60.
Really are. The way they land is just perfect for his game, really.
I think because he uses a long stem as well. If you look just before he releases, he dips the dart down near his chin and then sort of releases over the top, and that sort of brings the darts level.
Yeah, whereas Torgeir's got much more of a sort of a punchy throw.
Yeah, flicky action like a Steve Beaton.
Yeah.
Very similar to Steve Beaton, to be fair.
And he's very, very angry with himself now.
22.
Did she say 92?
22.
Oh, that was a real worry there. I thought she said 92, and I was deeply concerned.
38.
Oh. Yeah, some interesting noises up on that hockey sometimes.
Seems to be catching.
100.
I think it's often the case as well. I think players try too hard to punish a bad score from their opponent. They actually end up throwing a bad visit themselves.
Again, it's a case of playing your opponent, not the board. You're so worried about, well, I'm this much ahead, or they only scored this much, and then suddenly you start overthinking it, and that's when you have the more loose darts, where you force it, just goes just the wrong side of the wire. So you just got to focus on your own game all the time,
100.
not too much about what your opponent's doing. Lucky there.
59 leaves the visit. This is what I was saying before. 60 wouldn't have left a finish, but 59 leaves the 164.
Treble one's not, but that's a great second dart.
83.
Yeah. There's another 136. So
Had a
Rodolph
142.
needs-
Can we have a 164? Nope. Is the answer to that one?
41.
Well, that would be an opportunity here for Torgeir on 136.
He's taken out 120 before in this competition. Well, that's a great
first
first
start.
start.
Absolutely perfect. Just underneath. 16's here for tops.
Yeah, 16 for tops or 18 for double.
96.
18 for double six. No, never mind. I can't. My maths was terrible there. I apologise.
20 would have left 36 as well. That's
Yes.
So he was top for a level game. Who thought this? When
And this is for another break of the Einarsson throw. He's third in a row.
and double one. Number 19.
9.
Now,
Einarsson looking to punish this, definitely.
Can he escape?
5-3.
End shot for Rudolph.
It's crucial.
22 dart leg. To move 5-3 and within a leg of the match.
It's a big difference, isn't it, Andrew? 4-all and 5-3. That was a huge leg.
especially with Torgeir having the throw in this 9th leg. If it's 4-4 and he's throwing to go into the lead for the first time, when you were 4-1 up and flying, that's huge. But yeah, 5-3. He's now throwing to stay in the match. Totally different ball game.
44.
Now, psychologically, Andrew, how will that tell on Torgeir? Because obviously, missed chances there to go 4-all and end up losing the leg and could be on the verge of losing this game.
30.
Well, you saw him checking just before the leg score was. And yeah, I think he was frustrated with his first three, but that's a much better second visit. And Rudolph again has had a loose start, and
42.
yeah, real driving seat in this leg to Torgeir on his own throw. He's almost 100 in front now, and that's a great treble. Follow it up.
83.
Now, I might be mistaken, but is Torgeir changing darts?
Not quite noticed.
I don't know. The darts, there seems to be a more kind of red, kind of translucent flight on some of them, and then they look white. I don't know. It might be my eyes playing tricks on. Or maybe he's kind of taken Pete right to the extreme and he's tinkering between legs.
Beautiful first start to get him back in the leg.
Really needs another treble.
Another treble 20 needed. Yeah, I was saying before, Andrew, about the YouTube subscribers are now to 825. I can now confirm that 1,000 subscribers will be giving away a signed set of Scott Mitchell darts, courtesy of Winmore. And that's a fantastic prize for one of our viewers. And we are pushing the figures up now towards the 1,000 mark, and it's a great prize that we've got on offer.
I mean, I'll happily take them. But no, that's a great prize, really is. Scott's a great player. He's got a really nice start as well. So, very lucky person who wins that prize should we get to 1,000 subscribers, which we will do.
47.
Great content being produced by everyone at Live Darts Iceland, not just with the Premier League, but all their other events during the course of the year as well. 2019 shaping up quite well already for Live Darts Iceland.
60.
Leaves the big fish if he's going to get an opportunity. Can't finish now, 99 left.
Especially not with that. 26. Leaves himself with 76 for next time, but can he take out the first 170 of the tournament?
A slight glimmer of hope.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Let's have it.
The big fish. Oh,
That was-
175.
That was a
Rudolph nearly went
superb
fishing
effort.
there.
That was a fantastic effort.
That was terrific stuff.
For the match as well, that would have been a roof raiser.
With our first maximum checkout of the Icelandic Premier League.
And he could have emulated Colin Lloyd as well when the World Match Play back when he won that on a 170 finish.
I mean, not quite the same setup, but yes, I totally agree with you.
I think that was one of the best moments in darts I've ever seen when he won that on the.
Oh, it was terrific. It really was. I mean, the World Match Play, just the structure of it has the tendency to just produce some epic games. I think last year we saw that in the final. Gary Anderson and Mensur Suljovic.
Stay in the match.
Game shot for Torgeir.
He does do. He does stay in it.
Holds it with a slightly low quality 27 dart leg, but he's kept him honest. And now Rudolph, who's had a weak throw, really, it's now got to try and hold. Oh, two great darts to start.
125.
His treble 20 hitting Anderson has been remarkable in this game. Been the best we've seen so far this evening by a long shot. It's been brilliant. His grouping has been fantastic, and
He's just
100.
the only slight on him is that he's had a slight drift on his third dart into the 5 or the treble 5 occasionally. There's been a lot of 125s, 135 scores, which are still great in their own right, but he's not far away from hitting a lot more maximums. But that's only good. Again, more competitive games and more stream games are only going to help these guys improve. So Einarsson's playing really well here. His average he's pulled off a little bit. He was up to about 75 earlier in the game. It's dipped down to about 70 overall now, but he's averaging 92 in this leg so far. So he's starting to kick things back up again.
61.
Unlucky with that final dart. It's drifting into the treble 7. Torgeir moving across. Going to get the treble 20. Now he's gone into the treble 1.
Einarsson has got a chance there.
Yes, he really does. Yeah, he's got a bit of a head start. If he can get a couple of trebles here, he's firmly in control. That 5's not really what he wanted, but great treble with his last dart. Doesn't leave him a finish, but it's pretty much as close to one as you can get. So
For Gudmundsson needs 2 trebles minimum.
minimum. Well, that's all he's going to get now, maximum.
45.
Yeah, that's not really good enough. So it's 6 darts and 171 for Rudolph. Treble 1. Oh, well, the 1 had to go at some point, so he's now 63. 20. Great darts.
That's a
there,
fantastic visit.
He'll be looking for 48 to take out the match.
And he's going to have some breathing space and some time by the look of it.
Yeah.
26.
Yeah. Well, Torgeir's back on 151. Treble. They bust. It's a real shame. It was just in the treble 16. Well, that's in some senses there. You just got to go for the wire and 8 for tops or 16 for double 16. Oh, great second out from Torgeir. Leaves him at 71.
17s or 13s would be the shot here. I think he went for the treble 13.
Leaves himself on 53. Right, can Rudolph take this out this time? For the match. 16, 2 shots of double 16.
10 shot for Rudolph.
Great stuff. 20 dart leg to win the match. Great stuff.
That was an impressive performance in patches from Einarsson, who produced some great stuff, especially on the treble 20 bed. Wired the one, well, I won't say wired, but it's a great shot on the 170. First 2 trebles going in and then into single 12. But yeah, what a performance, a 70 average. And I'm sure we'll be seeing more of Einarsson in the future.
I think that match was really indicative of his season in the sense that there was good scoring in places, good finishing in places. Obviously, that was that brilliant 142. But he just wasn't quite consistent enough, really. But Gudmundsson, really off colour, one of his poorest performances so far, ensures that Peter Gudmundsson will finish second in the Premier League this year. But it also opens the door for Vitor Charra in the final game to perhaps move up to third. And after what we saw from Helguson tonight, in the semi-finals, you really want to be avoiding him. So it was a good game. Good game, that. I think Torgeir got into it as the match progressed. And in the end, Rudolph had enough of a head start to get over the line and show some good scoring.
Yeah, and of course, it all goes down to leg difference as well on the for Charra. If he can win and get in third place, that'd be great for him.
I'm very much looking up to this final game of the evening. 2 of the best players in the league this year, second against fourth. As we said earlier, Peter Gudmundsson's playing in the WDF and BDO Dutch Open in just a couple of weeks' time, one of the most prestigious events in the darting calendar. And Charra was really, and Vitor Charra and his beautiful stars, really some of the biggest stars in Icelandic darts. So should be a fantastic game.
Yeah, it's pretty huge, really, because a Charra victory would obviously lift him a place above. Obviously, Peter Gudmundsson's position is guaranteed. So the only way the positions could change is if Charra manages to record a victory. And the way he's been playing in 2018 especially, it suggests that he is ever so slightly the favourite in this one. And the bookies have him as the favourite ever so slightly as well.
Well, in the last round of fixtures, Charra beat Einarsson, the man we've just seen, 6-3. With a 68 average, whereas Peter Gudmundsson played Joseph de Roon and won 6-3 with a 69.6 average. So both men coming into this on the back of impressive wins. And obviously, as you were saying earlier on during the broadcast, that Charra will hit that 10 data in December. So we know the man nicknamed the Grenade is certainly a great player and a great scorer when he can put it all together. So he's an enigma in a sense because he's flattered to deceive. You see his record there: 3 wins, 3 defeats. And if you're tuning in for the first time, you've probably not seen much of him, but he's a real standout player. And I think that fourth, should he finish fourth, I think him against Eggleston in the playoffs would be a really tight game. And to be honest, Charra was probably the one to avoid. Especially as he looked in some form.
Yeah, the very first game I commented on back in mid-2018, I was watching Charra for the first time. I'd heard bits about him. He actually averaged 93. First time I've seen him. It was a really good performance, but especially going off tonight's action, Andrew, the way the average has been showing, I reckon if you can average 75 to 80, then you're going to win most matches.
Yeah, I think we saw Eggleston when he was playing at sort of that 80 standard. No one really would have kept up with him. And Einarsson, we saw around 75, was scoring at a rate that was hard to match. So I think scoring, though, again, isn't everything. So just a case of who can get the finishes. And there he is, Charra, warming up with his beautiful moustache. But yeah, it's just a case of who can get the finish in and really put it all together, to be honest. Who's got the best all-round game? And so far in this Premier League, that's been Helguson. He's been the best scorer and the best finisher.
Yeah, that is a rather beautiful moustache. I've never seen a moustache better than that, if I'm honest. If anybody's watching on the Facebook live stream, any comments on Vito's moustache, or if you've seen a moustache better, then please get in touch.
I mean, no one has. That is one of the best moustaches I've ever seen. It's terrific.
I think he puts Dick Dastardly to shame there, doesn't he?
I mean, that is terrific. Sort of resembles Mr. Potato Head from Toy Story in some ways.
Of course, Portuguese born as well, Vitor Charra. Now applies his trade in Iceland.
We've recently seen Portugal's Jose de Souza play at the PDC Championships.
Yeah, it's not really a country that you'd associate with darts, Portugal. It's quite a minor sport in Portugal, but we've seen some great players to come out of Spain. Obviously, Cristo Reyes from Tenerife.
Tony Alsnas.
Yeah.
It's a growing region for sure. And like all of darts, I think darts is just growing across the world. We've seen in the lineups for Euro Q School and obviously UK Q School, which kicks off tomorrow, they've got an incredibly international mix. You've got players from Singapore, India, Japan, New Zealand, Canada, America. I mean, North America is a region where the growth of darts is absolutely huge. But you've just got darts growing all over the world. We've seen with the World Series, them going over to China, Australia, New Zealand, another huge region. We saw Mark McGrath and Justin Thompson really impress at the recent BDO World Championships. So I just think darts is growing all over the board, really, and you're going to continue seeing players come from countries you might not have seen in big darts tournaments before, and they're just going to herald a wave of new, exciting talent.
No score.
Yeah, as you may know, Andrew, I played quite a big part in this CDC over in America, like you was just saying about North America, where the World Championship qualification criteria was actually the CDC tour. So it's 10 events over the course of the year, 2 places, one to the top Canadian and one to the top ranked American. So the North American Championship with Jeff Smith won. But it really, the standards creeping up year on year. They're actually in the 5th year now of the existence of the Championship Darts Corporation. And the events are all streamed live on Facebook. They've got Chuck Pulio, who's actually gone to Q School. He's averaging 100 on a consistent basis. He had a couple of 104, 105s. And I know him, Danny Lauby, and Chris White have all gone to Q School. I think I'm meeting up with them over the weekend actually for a drink. And it's going to be great to see how the American guys get on.
And obviously, we've seen in recent years Jeff Smith come over from Canada after his successes at Lakeside, and It looks like Davy Cameron and I think Jim Long are also playing at Q School.
Jim Long's not there at the minute. It's another different Canadian player. I think Jim's just playing the CDC stuff he was saying. There's another. I can't think. I think it's Kylie Edmonds who's playing who's the Canadian.
Oh yes, I think Adam Stella also who's played a lot of the BDO Canadian ranking events. He's also there. So good stuff from Peter there. Nice talent.
Yeah, I think in terms of Jim Long, I think it was a sort of a surprise that he qualified. He was sort of baffled that he qualified for the World Championship. He went right down to the last day as he edged out Gary Mawson in the end by one match, and it was rather surprised. But the way he won his first round game in what was a tough game with Mickey Mansell, because it wasn't the best in terms of standard, but he got through that, and then he missed a match start to beat Benito van der Pas. So that was a great day before.
Yeah, I thought Jim was one of the real success stories of the PDC World Championships. But I think you're seeing darts growing all over the world, and it's so exciting to see. I mean, Paul Lim is the real standard bearer for Asian darts. You saw him come through like 1992. Was it 1990 when he hit that 9-darter at Lakeside?
It was fantastic.
And he's still playing at the PDC World Championship, still playing at the World Cup. And he's heralded a wave of new talent. You've obviously got Tai Chi Royden Lam, the soft tip star who recently had his tour card and didn't use it, but you've had him. You obviously had Prakash Jiwa, the Indian player, and you had Nitin Kumar, another young Indian player. You've had other Chinese qualifiers. And obviously, you'd be remiss to talk about Asian darts and not mention the lady of the hour, Mikuru Suzuki.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I was just about to say that because we actually, on the podcast that we host, we've actually sort of called that game because I remember you saying that the winner of that game between Lisa Ashton and Suzuki would go on to win the tournament, and we weren't wrong. We all expected Suzuki to play well, but did we really expect what she produced in the final? 6 darts into a 9-darter, a 90 average over 3 sets. Brilliant.
Well, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, lucky game against Lisa. She played really well." When they saw the game against Sharon Prinz, where some really poor finishing from Mikuru led to really low averages from both ladies, but she was just incredible to watch. And Asian darts is in a great place. As Peter set up double top here, he's gonna have to move across double 10. Oh,
78.
Side.
Vitor, of course, not on a checkout.
There's been a very slow start from Vitor here. He's averaging barely over 50, so it's not quite finding his range on that treble, I say, as he hits one. And hits another one. There we go.
Bit of pressure, lovely bit of pressure.
What do I know? There you go, Campetor, take the first leg. Oh, no, he's going to have to split.
One down.
2. Yeah.
And Charra licking his lips there in the background, waiting to.
And can Charra take this after not being in the leg at all? 16 for tops. Yeah, here we go. Should be a good marker.
The great guy just flicking off that barrel. So there we go.
Wasn't particularly pretty, but a 24-dart leg gets Mr. Charra on the board with a breaker throw. So both men nowhere really near their tournament averages, but it's Vitor who's out in front. Lovely switch there. Great.
96 it should be.
Suppose it's not just the players who are having some issues with their counting this evening.
And the commentators.
Well, yes. Yes, touche, sir. I set myself up for that, actually. Yes, great. That was a very good line. I've got a nice fervent head now.
That's a brilliant first one. Right at the top of the treble 20 bed. Just unlucky with that one.
125.
Great third dot there from Vitor.
Bit of breathing space here for Charra.
Yeah.
If he can produce a good visit here to follow that up a good visit from Gudmundsson. Leads by 105 before these.
Oh. Is it trying to work out where he...
59 will lead 135. Problem here with the scoreboard.
$99 would leave him a 95, yeah.
A slight disruption.
Appears to have been some issues there with the scoreboard.
It's all been rectified now.
Yeah, so Vitor on 222 after 9. Can Vitor apply the pressure here with a good throw? Just below.
He needs trebles desperately.
60.
Obviously, a 60 would only leave 162, so...
Needs to switch here. 17s would leave you...
A bullseye would leave a finish. 25 or the bullseye.
164. Be the best finish of the tournament so far if he can take it out. Well, tournament, Premier League.
85.
Unlucky with the final dart.
At least 6 darts at this, Charra. But I'm sure if he gets the 2 trebles, he'll definitely go for the bullseye. That's one of them.
Yeah. Treble 18.
Oh, he stayed there.
It's probably because he knows he's got no pressure.
He's on the sensible route.
Yeah.
140.
That's
terrific visit from Victor. Vitor, even. Yeah, he's given himself a great shot there.
That's sensible board management as well. With his opponent not on the finish.
Vitor. Good second dart. Tremendous grouping on those.
180 would be perfect.
140.
40.
Still a good visit. Some pressure. 3 darts of double 12.
Or to double his advantage in this final match.
Should be a good guide.
Just to the right of that one.
Even better
Maybe
guide.
moving.
Hopefully.
Might be moving here. Just slightly.
No score.
So 108, there's options here. There's the 18s route, or there's the 19s route, or the 20s. It's a 108 is a very good option. You've got several ways of taking this.
I mean, you can even... I would normally go 17s, go treble 17, single 17 for tops.
I normally like the 19s route, single, treble, double 16.
Yep.
A lot of the players seem to go that way. Yeah, there's Gerwin Price on the 104 as well, who goes this treble 16, single 16 tops. So there's different routes.
I tried to go with the 17s just because of the grouping, or the angle, sorry. If I go with the single, then the treble, the angle adjustment's easier for me than the 16s and 19s. So, but Vitor's missed now 6 darts at a double in this leg, and could Vitor steal it?
It could be a reverse of the last leg, really.
Behind. Double 8, treble 8 there, 2 darts at tops. It's a good guide with the first one. Oh, pulls it too short on the last one. So Vitor's got another chance now.
If he could get this leg wrapped up, look, he's certainly on Vitor's side in his first 2 legs anyway.
On the single, so he's got to adjust for double 3, which is a horrible double. That should be a good guide. Might be able to use the barrel. There we go. Does.
A good finish.
Finally wraps it up. 24
It was certainly his leg to lose, though, Andrew. He was miles in front of the scoring.
Well, he was down to 24 after 15 darts and ends up hitting a 24 dart leg, and his average for the match is still 63. So, yeah, Vitor's not... His finishing is letting him down. It's not been his strong suit throughout the whole tournament, really. His finishing. He's only been on 25% coming into this match. Well, that's 2 great darts to start.
180.
Terrific stuff from Vitor. 180 of the competition. 8. I noticed the stats for this. Vitor has actually only hit 180 in the entire competition, yet is still second overall. So it just goes to show that maximums aren't everything when it comes to games, especially in best of 11 format.
Well, he's hit 7 in 6 weeks, so we know that Vitor is minimum one per match, and he is a solid scorer. Normally, he's not played to his normal standard in the first 2 legs of this match, but we're expecting an improvement from Charra for sure.
Blocking off the treble bed for him.
60.
Yeah. Right. Just to say that the subscriber count has gone up again. Now we're up to 827. Thank you to everyone who's listened to
100.
commentary that Tom and I have provided this evening and the action. We've had 3 great games so far. And this 4th game looked like it's heating up nicely, Tom.
Yeah, it most certainly is. A 2-0 lead where it could have really been any scoreline, couldn't it, Andrew, really? Because Charra stole the first leg, and then he was lucky not to
Throw away
lose the second leg. Yeah.
42.
We've seen a lot of games like that tonight, though, really, where it could have been any sort of scoreline. It's just about taking your chances and hitting that double.
Yeah, we've seen double trouble as cost. I mean, you had Helguson in his game earlier on tonight, where his doubles hurt in the middle phase of his game. Rudolf Einarsson, you saw his doubles in the last game really cost him. And in the first game, Fredriksson and Jonsson both struggled to kind of hit their doubles with any real regularity. That's a good treble from Vitor there. 75 leaves himself with 60. No, he doesn't. Leaves himself with 58. 58 after 18. No, 58 after 15, rather. Sorry.
Nice bit of pressure applied here.
83.
Another treble. Oh,
Unlucky with that final dart. That's 58 to move 3-0 up and a second breaker throw. 18 for tops. Just inside that wire. 2 darts at tops. Can have
great
to
group.
down.
Great group in that, though. If you can just slide off the barrel again like I did in the earlier leg.
38.
No,
Just pulled
too
it.
much.
You can tell he's getting frustrated with himself at these misses because he's given himself a great guide most of the time and not really making the most of it.
He will be back, though,
treble.
for an opportunity for a 3-0 advantage.
Peter back at 99.
He's been in this situation a lot, Andrew, as well, where he's played great dart, that double 10, where he's played last game of the evening a lot of the times because he's appeared in a lot of finals, won a lot of finals on the live Darts Iceland tour, and it'll suit him perfectly. And he's opened up a 3-0 lead now, and he's halfway to victory.
And that was a much better leg there. He's pushed his overall average up to 67 now, which is much closer to his tournament average, still below his tournament average of 69.7. But he's still throwing well. He's starting to pick up the pace a little bit now, and Petor's not really close to him, to be honest. Yes, he could have won that first leg, and second leg he probably should have taken advantage, but that third leg wasn't too close. And Vitor's got a really good chance to really kick on and take an early 4-0 lead, especially with darts like that. Great treble. Oh, another one. Can he fill it up again? Moving right over on the Oki.
140.
Hello. Great 40. Really keeps the pressure up there.
Well on his way to potentially opening up a 4-0 lead.
24.
Full visit there from Petor's. Vitor's got a huge margin now, 141 in front, plus these. Another great 40s down to 136 after 9. This is some terrific stuff from the Portuguese-born thrower.
It's been a great leg. 122 average in this leg. It's been brilliant.
And we've seen Just noticing in the bottom right corner, the subscriber count's rocketed up now to 833. So ticking over very nicely this evening. Hope people are enjoying the action on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Start Connect. And as I say, any feedback for the team and Tom and myself are always very grateful. Or can he take out this 136? Not now. He's being sensible. Probably go for an AET. No. 100. That leaves him with 36 after 12. Tremendous stuff from Vitor. It really is some great stuff in this fourth leg. He's averaging 116 in this leg. Can he take it out for a 13 darter? 3 darts, double 18. Just inside, so we'll have to switch across the board. Double 9 should be a good enough guide. Just adjusting the moustache slightly. Oh, unlucky. All 3 darts were good there, but he would have been close to one of the best legs of the tournament so far, 13 darter. But I mean, he's got time, so especially now with that 5 from Petor, still on 206, so he knows he's got 6 darts from 18.
I think the fact that Gudmundsson's not on a finish as well is sort of relaxes him a bit too much.
Well, he's given himself double 3, which is not what he wanted at all.
Could he bust his score here? Because he shouldn't waste 2 darts, really, surely.
The double 3 is horrible to hit, but great final dart. 18 dart leg in the end for him. 71 average overall now with Petor back on 62. So Vitor Charra is well over his tournament average now, and he looks to be picking up the speed rather than dropping off. He just looks like it's got too much for Petor as things stand. So
yeah, I think he definitely adjusted his moustache on that one, Andrew.
I mean, I think it must help. I assume it must have practical benefit. Bear in mind, just a fun fact, we've not had a 6-0 scoreline in this year's competition so far.
85.
Could Vitor be on his way to getting the first whitewash of the competition and really sending out a message as we move to the semi-finals of the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League?
Yeah, he certainly could well be on the way to a 6-0 win, the way he's been playing. Like we said, the first 2 legs, he wasn't at the races. He was lucky, really, to open up a 2-0 lead. And I think that had a detrimental effect on Gudmundsson as well, because he felt that at minimum it should have been 1 each.
I mean, to be honest, Vitor picked his pocket in those first 2. And now he's hit an 85 and a ton 40. And he's almost 90 ahead on the Gudmundsson throw again. This is really terrific stuff from Charra, and a win here should, all things being equal, move him up to 3rd overall in the competition, given that he had a better legs differential to Torgeir Gudmundsson coming into the match. Terrific.
Superb darts, this is. Absolutely amazing.
Second maximum of the match for Charra. He's 9th in the competition so far, so he's only just behind Torgeir Gudmundsson, who we saw earlier this evening. And he's down to 96 after just 9 darts. This is terrific stuff.
It's like I was saying to you earlier, Andrew. He hit a 93 average this year, the first time I've seen him play, and he looked like he could push that level even higher. So when he's been averaging 60 to 70, it's sort of below par to what he can achieve. And double 18 here for a 96 checkout and a 5-0 lead. And
11 darter.
That is absolutely superb stuff.
Best leg of the competition this year. Well, best leg of the competition this edition of the Icelandic Premier League. I think that's the best leg so far. Yeah,
a 12-dart leg from Helguson was the best leg so far, and that was a 1-6-1 finish. So
outstanding from Charra. This really is absolute exceptional dart.
Yeah, I've been impressed with this guy since day one. I've seen him when he can easily average 100.
He's cranked his average up to 78 now. Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, he'd be thriving if this was sort of first to 10. To be honest, he's motoring. Good start from Gudmundsson there, a sort of steady ton. He's back on 6.
Considering the way he started, Andrew, where he was struggling and sort of scraped 2 legs together, that dragged his average down. It was in the 50s in the first leg. And getting up now to 78, this really has raised his game. And this
And
is
you've got to think psychologically, this is going to be massively frustrating for Gudmundsson. He's second. He's lost just once before tonight, and if things go to plan, he's going to suffer a hefty defeat to Charra. Oh,
65.
unlucky with the bounce up there. He's going to suffer an unlucky, a quite brutal defeat to Charra. Then guess who will have to play in the semi-finals of the Premier League? The man with the best moustache in Scandinavia, Mr. Charra. I mean, you don't want to see a performance like this and realise you've got to play the bloke again very soon afterwards. That's got to be incredibly frustrating, surely.
I think what would be absolutely perfect as well is for potentially Helguson and Charra both to come through the semi-finals, if that's what it's going to be, and then play during the final. That would be the perfect final to have. I mean, if Charra was to lose this game, say he would have met Helguson in the semis, which you don't really want to do, but it would be a perfect final if that could be a possibility of the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, this has been some great stuff so far. Oh, lovely cover shot there.
82.
I think every time I've seen Charra play, he's always produced these sort of darts in flashes, but not sort of done it on a consistent basis.
The
But
last
he's
three legs have been brilliant stuff.
really played well.
60.
We've sort of just been
He's
waiting
got 6
for it to
starts
happen.
from ton 80 here. Seal out the match.
I think the way that he started, I think we both thought that he's going to kick in at some point. When's it coming? And then bang, he just started. Potentially could have had a 13 and an 11, couldn't he? Really?
Oh, yeah. 40. Not his best visit of the game, but
40.
he's still down to 40 or 140 after 15.
I would not put it past him to take this out, to be fair.
And that'll be his best checkout of the Premier League in 2018. Well, 2019 we are now. But it'd be his best checkout so far. So
85.
Gudmundsson trying to apply a bit of pressure. He's on 136, but you've still got to favour Charra in this leg. Oh, great first dart. Is he going to do it? Oh, he went top.
Oh.
Cheeky boy. What a cheeky man.
80.
He tried the cheeky option there, the sexy version, but didn't quite put. If he'd pulled that off, that would have been quite something. 6-0 finish on 140 tops. That would have been a great advert for the COOLBET Iceland Premier League.
32.
So Vitor Charra is looking at 60 to create the first whitewash of the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League, and a great victory over a very good player in Peter Gudmundsson, who's not been on his best game, but Charra was really up to it. He wants double top here, last start in hand.
Having to move across.
Had to move to the right of the hockey.
Oh,
Great
great.
dart. Excellent stuff.
21 dart leg, Vitor has one.
Vitor Charra completes a 6-0 win over Peter Rudrik Gudmundsson in what was a great performance from the second leg onwards, Andrew. He was sort of struggling in the first 2 legs. It could have been any scoreline, but
he finishes with a 77 average. So best performance of the evening there from Mr. Charra. That was some incredibly impressive stuff, and he now finishes the league in 3rd place. And we'll be playing Mr. Gudmundsson in the semi-finals, and you'll be betting after that performance, Gudmundsson won't want to see Charra for a long, long time.
As you can see from my graphic, guys, the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League table, the final standings. So the finalists, Hallgrimur Helguson will take on Torgeir Gudmundsson, and then Peter Rudrik Gudmundsson is in a rematch against Vitor Charra in the finals of the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League. I hope you've enjoyed all the coverage this evening. Me and Andrew have fully enjoyed the experience, and it's been brilliant to commentate on such fantastic games, especially the last game, Andrew. That was fantastic to watch.
Oh, Charra just turned on the style after first couple of legs and looked really impressive there. So it'll be certainly one to look out for in the final 4. But all in all, a great evening's worth of darts once again from the COOLBET Icelandic Premier League.